Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley and this is another video in the series on Derbyshire churches. This is the church of St Mary, Tissington. Now some churches are very much village churches, other churches are very much big house churches, and St Mary's Tissington is very much a big house church. You can see behind me this enormous double-decker memorial and of course Norman arch, and then a three-decker pulpit, or what's left of one. I think it's just a two-decker now, but it was originally of course a three-decker. And this is the church of the Fitzherberts family of Tissington Hall. It's still very much a village church, but the village here is very much an estate village. So we'll have a look around and look at some of the Fitzherbert memorials and some of the other notable things about this little, it is quite little, church. So here we are, we start at the west end as usual, and immediately we can see that this is a Norman building from that arch. There is some Norman work still surviving. The arcade for the north aisle, that is only one aisle, is of course 19th century, pretending to be Norman, but good for them, imitating the style. Interestingly, it's quite similar to the work at nearby Parwich, which does lead me to the conclusion that probably it's the same stonemasons, and why not? You're rebuilding the church at Parwich and adding an aisle here, why not use the same people? The font is spectacular. It is a Norman tub, and you can see it's carved with fantastic beasties. It's quite worn now, but still these fantastic beasties wind their way around the font. Let's just go to the side now. There is a little man visible, just see him there. It's hard to tell exactly what they are depicting, but it is quite spectacular. There is a very nice organ at the back. This is by, where are we? Probably can't see it on this, but it's Albert Keats of Sheffield. It looks like a two-manual with pedal board. Lots of windows, and a wonderful selection of windows. Thankfully, the Fitzherberts didn't have a sort of Anglo-Catholic period here, so they didn't sweep away everything. Now, the old box pews have gone and been replaced by these rather solid late 19th, early 20th century ones, but the old three-decker has just lost its top deck. And we've still got the royal arms of, I think, George III up there, over the chancel arch, which is the traditional place to put them. And we have a funeral hatchment of the Fitzherberts up there, various Fitzherbert memorials. You've got the war memorial here. You've just got the three men, but they are, in each case we have their regiment and where or when they died. It's notable that Stanley Westhope at the bottom, of course, died after the war, but the suggestion is he died from his wounds. 1861 window with the royal arms. And here we've got the Noah's Ark window, which is always great fun, the Noah's Ark window. I mean, the depiction of Noah's Ark is completely, well, it's a house on a boat. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And the dove came to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive branch plucked off. And you can see here that the second deck here has gone. We've got the bottom deck, which is the clerk's desk, and there would have been a second deck up there, which has disappeared, and the pulpit. So it's just two-decker now. Chancel arch is a very nice example of Norman work, dogtooth carving. The chancel is roped off, so we won't go in there, we'll just go up the steps. And you can see here all these Beresford, well not Beresford, Fitzherbert memorials. Beresford's the next door one. Nice 17th century communion rails, simple east window, this due in memorial, in memoriam of me, so with Christ in the middle as Salvator Mundi, the saviour of the world. Some very, very nice memorials for the Fitzherberts. You can see that one suspects that the Fitzherberts sit up here, that these aren't choir stalls but family pew. Could be wrong, of course. We've got here the glory of God and in loving memory of Captain Henry Fitzherbert, killed in South Africa in 1901, aged 36. It's the South African War. Great big memorial to William Fitzherbert, who died in 1772, and his wife and children. So there's some very, very good 18th century work in here. And we pan around here. We've got the Mothers Union banner there, which we'll have a close look at later, and that massive great organ case at the back. Obviously the pipes that we see are dummies, the real pipes are behind them. Nice tower arch there. Now this, of course, is the most notable tomb here. This is the big 17th century Fitzherbert tomb we have up here. Sir John Fitzherbert, Knight, late of Tissington, deceased the 2nd of August, 1642, aged 43. And it's very typical that you've got, he and his wife are kneeling either side of a prayer desk. They're kneeling in prayer. This is very much a Protestant tomb. The tendency in the Middle Ages was that your recumbent effigies, that Protestants like to have your kneeling demonstrating piety, and here we have Francis Fitzherbert Esquire, who departed this life the 4th of January, aged 80, in the year of our Lord 1619. Love, justice, honour here, all at once in one appear. Let the reader silent be, and do homage on his knee to this reverend esquire, that hath now his full desire of that peace he ever loved, in his life and death approved, laid here with his two loyal friends, most renowned in their ends. And his two loyal friends are his two wives, of course. You can see the one here, but the other is behind her. And obviously what you're looking at is, which always are with these two wives, that one, and the one at the back, died, and then he remarried, and then his second wife died. And you'll notice that they are both wearing black, whereas she up there is in white. And there they are kneeling. You know, he's wearing the robes of a judge. There's the Mothers Union. O ye wells, bless ye the Lord, because Tissington is famous for its wells. There's a custom in this part of the world of well dressings, where these elaborate structures, decorations, will be set up over the wells. It dates back really to the Middle Ages, although it became a really big thing in the 19th century, as a lot of these old folk customs did. Here we are, 19th century aisle. Not a lot to say about it, except it's 19th century and imitation Norman. And then we come back here, there's the doorway. Now, here are some examples of well dressing. This is the well dressing from 2017, and you can see that these quite elaborate structures were set up over the wells. So there they are, and yes, just sit there, the Norman doorway. Well, we'll go outside and have a look around there. Now, before we go fully outside, this is the south door, and you'll notice we've got a nice Norman tympanum, a couple of figures, and then a geometric pattern above, and nice Norman columns, and then this door is 18th century probably. It's a good piece of Norman work there. So here we are outside at Tissington, St Mary's. The dedication is quite common. The Normans had a certain devotion to the Virgin Mary. Again, we must remember we're talking about medieval people here. This is the south side. It's shaded by ancient yew trees, and there is a big family vault for the Fitzherberts. So let's have a look around the outside and then say some closing words when we've done that. Originally this would have been very much like the church at Alsop on the Dale nearby, and it still has from this angle the typical Norman two-cell structure with its little squat tower. The tower looks later than the Norman, although there's a corbel table on it. Maybe it does have Norman origins. It's got a nice old graveyard with all these old table tombs in it, and the setting here is in the middle of this incredibly picturesque village. In the summer, of course, there are many tourists come here because it is a really lovely place. I apologise for any wind sound on the video. This is of course because it's windy up here. So we progress around. This is the north side, and you can see there that big aisle built on. It's just built on to give extra accommodation because of, well, the need to do that. That's the hall, Tissington Hall. You can see it's a massive building. Today they do things like weddings there. It's still the home of the Fitzherberts. So around here, I apologise for the position of the sunlight of the sun, but of course I can't do anything about it because, well, that's the time of day it is. Now, here we have the Titanic grave. Now this is the Allison family, and at the bottom you have James Allison, who was drowned on the Titanic, April the 15th, 1912, aged 43 years. Nearer, my God, to thee. This, of course, is traditionally what the band is said to have been playing when Titanic went down. So, the Titanic grave. Of course, he's somewhere in the ocean. His body was not recovered, but he's recorded here on the family grave. This is the socket of the old graveyard cross. The cross itself has gone. And again, the hall got these nice snowdrops coming out. It's that time of year when winter is slowly giving way. And there's the hall. So we come back here, and we have Fitzherbert Memorial, this great cross here. This is their memorial. It's, shall we say, a free interpretation of Anglo-Saxon, if we look up here. And the cross head there. The wheel head actually is an interesting thing because it becomes very popular, but really the spokes, well, the wheel bit is just about adding strength to it. It's not, there's nothing symbolic about it at all. It's just a matter of adding strength to the structure. Well, there's the front of the hall. You see the Fitzherbert arms over it, and they are literally just across from the church. So that is St Mary's. Tissington, just carry on around here. I think that's the old vicarage over there, but they carry on around through to the, and you see the massive buttressing on the tower because we're right up on the edge here. It needs to be properly supported, otherwise you have some serious structural difficulty with that. And the incredibly solid masonry. It's a tower, but it's a tower that does look like it's more than one. It's multiple stages, but it does look like probably it's all one era. Hard to tell sometimes, particularly when what you're looking at is just a great piece of masonry, and that's all. So carry on around here, avoiding the snowdrops because I would be the least popular man in all of Tissington if I stepped on them. And there we are, back looking up at the side. I know that window there suggests that tower is Norman, which makes sense. It's a nice massive piece, but it's probably later than the nave, or the older parts of the nave. Well, so there we have it, St Mary's, Tissington. So from the Norman conquest to the loss of the Titanic, through to the 20th century, St Mary's, Tissington, an ancient church in an old estate village. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. In spite of it being very cold, because it's a sunny day in January, I do enjoy coming out to do these things. So thank you for watching again, and may God bless you and